Most practitioners are great at their craft and terrible at getting clients. Strategy Café exists to fix that. Welcome to episode 10. I'm Timothy, here with Chris, co-founders of Pykthos Mastermind, a coaching and community program that includes the software and done-for-you assets you need to actually run your business. But these calls are not a pitch. We run Strategy Cafe to deliver value first. And if you want to learn more about the mastermind after the session, head to pykthos.com, pykthos.com. Every other Friday, we break down what serious business builders actually do: build pipelines, automate follow-up, make revenue predictable. This is episode 10. If you're on replay, find us live, pykthos.com/cafe, and we make sure to send out the summary notes after every session so you won't miss a thing. Let's go, Chris.
All right. Yeah, this is awesome. Episode 10. And we've done so many of these, and we're getting a lot of the same faces and also a lot of new faces, which is fantastic. And we've got a few members here that are already in our Pykthos Mastermind and a lot of you who are not, which is totally cool. So the whole point of these things is to help you out. Now, let's just set the stage a little bit for how we're going to run this. We usually go for about 60 to 90 minutes, usually closer to 90. We're pretty generous with our time. What we want to do, I don't know if we've done this before on this particular call, but if you know that you want to ask a question, we want you to go into Zoom and use the reactions button and raise your hand, the digital hand raise, not your physical hand raise, because we might not see you, especially if your camera's off. Do that within the first 5 minutes. So that way we will know how much time we can budget towards everybody's questions that they have and how much time will be left for other things that we think will be useful for you in this episode. So raise your digital hands. Let us know in the chat if you're having a problem with that. Also, keep in mind that we'd love it if you use the chat and let us know in advance. So as we're scrolling through, we will read the chat and get a sense of a little bit of additional detail. Because if we can answer somebody's question and turn that answer into something that's useful to the whole group rather than just that one individual, that's way better. I love doing that. I love that approach. And then third, just a quick friendly reminder that this is recorded. So it's going to go on YouTube and Spotify. So if you are shy, don't want to talk, or don't want to be seen, then keep that in mind. All right. We are ready to rock and roll. What do we get to start with, Timothy?
Yeah, well, I mean, Jonathan's got his hand up, so we could either answer some quick questions or we can dive right into the topics that we've got lined up for you guys.
Okay. Well, let's start. How do you feel? Let's just start with Jonathan's question
Yeah.
and see
Yeah,
where
yeah.
it goes from there. And yeah, and keep in mind, you got to raise your hand first 5 minutes. That's what we're really going for. Otherwise, we're gonna we're gonna use the time as we see fit. But this is really for you. All right, Jonathan, good to see you.
Good to see you. This is going to be an easy one. It relates back to the A2P, and you showed me that page you guys developed.
Oh yeah.
My question about it is my website has like three call to action buttons, and I really was kind of pissy about dismantling all three of them and changing my. Is there like a way? I was thinking, would be better just to like clone the website, take the buttons
Oh,
out, put that page up there, and put that out there until I get past, and then put it back to the regular call to
even
action buttons?
even
Or is that
easier.
illegal?
I think no, it's totally fine. Even easier than that though. Here's
Yeah.
so for context for everybody else, Jonathan is talking about the Pykthos platform and the ability to send text messages. Now, in this day and age, not Pykthos specific. This is an industry-wide thing. It started in the United States, but I think everybody should expect it to go global. It's going to hit Canada. It's going to hit other countries. Basically, the telecom operators are under pressure to not allow people to spam you with text messages. So it's one thing if you have your iPhone and you're sending a message to somebody, because most people have unlimited texting plans and you could just text anything you want. But to prevent spam at scale, automation platforms let you send text messages and they let you send them at scale, which could be a spam problem, and spammers wreck things for everyone. So what happened is in the United States, you had T-Mobile and Verizon and whoever else, AT&T, I guess. I don't know what telecom carriers there are out there, but they all sort of bandied together and they created something called the campaign registry. And you now have to register yourself as an individual or a business owner in order to use an application like Pykthos, which is really Twilio on the back end, any of these services that let you send text messages. Now, for us, we're generally sending like appointment reminder text messages, or this webinar is coming up text message, or here's a live training that you've signed up for, or here's a cohort that you're in, or your session with me, the hypnotherapist, is happening, reminders. None of it's spam, but you've got to register first in order to do that. It's a pretty cheap fee. It costs like $20 or so to kind of get registered with the campaign registry. Otherwise, none of these services will let your text messages go through. Sort of annoying, but also a good thing because it means the ethical marketers out there like us and you guys will not be shut down. You can still use text. Text has a very high open rate compared to email, which is why using text message matters. And of course, that's built into the Pykthos platform, which is why Jonathan's asking the question. So, Jonathan, the answer really simply, remember when you went through the whole trust center verification process and you basically give a
Right.
link, a URL. I think in your case, it was yourdomain.com/book. Whatever that link is, you can just, it doesn't have to be your homepage. It can be any page. And that's why, so the demo that I showed you, which was, I can't remember what it was called, but Mike Mandel, hypnosis.com/get in touch or something like that. That's
Yeah.
not a page we ever send any traffic to. We only created it so that when the campaign registry took a look at our application, they would go, oh, yep, they're doing what they say they're doing, and they have the terms and conditions consent box for SMS marketing. Yep, good to go. So don't send them to your homepage with the multiple call to action. Just send them to any specific URL that has the form right there, and they'll be able to look at that and go, yep, he's doing everything according to the book. Approved.
Oh, just that one. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because I put that as like a separate page in with everything. I was looking at it. So that, okay, cool. That answers my question.
perfect.
And the fee now for the A2P is $23 or something now, or
Yeah,
95 cents, I think,
yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's just a
Okay.
one time. It's I wish nobody had to pay it, but that's the way the governments have decided to put pressure on the carriers and say you guys either do this yourselves or we're going to intervene, and the carriers decided to do it. So most platforms just pass through the cost at what it actually costs. That's why it's a small fee if you want to use text messaging. You don't have to use text messaging, but keep in mind it's very much worthwhile in your marketing, guys, using SMS for high value clients. So somebody who's paid you money to book a session with you one-on-one, they're obviously high value. It's worth spending a little bit of money to text message them. In the United States and Canada, text messages are really cheap, like less than a penny per message. In Europe, it is much more expensive, so you want to be a little bit more cautious about broadcasting out text messages for like cold leads and sort of lukewarm leads. But people who are hot leads, it makes a lot of sense to be sending text messages. So I hope that makes it a little bit more useful to everyone, not just your question, Jonathan, but also answers your question.
All right. Thank you.
All right. And keep in
Awesome.
mind, a couple more minutes for hand raising. Otherwise, we got a lot of shy crowd here. I see Danielle's got her hand up. And if you want to talk to us, then raise those hands, put them in the air.
Like you just don't care. All
Yeah.
right,
Oh,
Danielle.
Hi guys.
hello.
So this question kind of ties similarly into the last question, but a little bit different. Obviously, we've been working in the Pykthos mastermind on what I'm building and creating, and I'm at the place now where I'm trying to figure out how exactly to pitch my high ticket offer. So we obviously have the awareness. I'm at these public events, meeting people. We have the engagement. They sit down and get the reading with me. And then we have the ascend moment, which, like we had talked about,
Hmm.
that usually happens every client that I have. And so now I have this 6 session coaching package that is what I'm trying to sell from there. How do you recommend that I pitch that after that ascend moment? Do you recommend that I, do a text message? Like I just have this automated through Pykthos after they do their reading, like an hour or so after this text message goes out to them about this? Or do I mention it at the end of the reading? What do you
I
guys
have a
think?
feeling I have a feeling Timothy's going to have some great value to add here because he's a lot of experience in doing calls that then turn into sales. That
Yeah.
said, if we don't get you fully handled here, just let this is a perfect thing for the Wednesday mastermind calls. We can go into a lot more depth with you and you can show off what you're doing and we can, help you brainstorm asset creation and things like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
there Wednesday
I,
for sure.
yeah. I can definitely give a little bit of little guidance here that I think would be beneficial, not just to you, Danielle, but to everybody else as well. One of the things that you had mentioned, I kind of just want to make sure that we're all operating on the same framework here. Chris and I often discuss something called the customer value journey, which is just how strangers become customers. And every single person, whether it's you or someone that you're wanting to work with you, all of us go through this. So you could think of any brand, any any product at all, and it'll follow the same sequence. So you first have to become aware. So it's awareness, right? Meaning that,
I'll pull up a slide while you're
yeah,
talking.
yeah,
I'll see if I
yeah,
can find it. Our
yeah. So
CBJ. Here it is. Yeah.
we start with
Not
awareness,
the
which is
prettiest.
just, hey, I saw this thing. Cool. I now know it exists. Engagement is where, if you can imagine, it's kind of like a date, right? Like if I were to be at a coffee shop and I happen to look at somebody, I'm just glancing at them. That's the awareness stage. I just happen to notice them. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then the engagement is me actually walking up and interacting with that person. That's the engage phase. Once we start interacting with them, the subscription is like me asking them for their number. Say, hey, I would love for us to, keep in contact. So you want to exchange information. Then we have to convert them, meaning that we have to either ask them for something small, like a small dollar amount, meaning maybe we take them out to coffee, or a small amount of time. And in this case, this is where your discovery calls would come in. The convert stage,
Exactly.
really, if you can imagine, the awareness and engagement kind of operate the same. Like you see a social post, you become aware of a brand, you comment on it. That's those two together. Subscribe and convert kind of also go hand in hand. Usually, if you're subscribing into something, it's like a lead magnet. So something easy that you can, watch or read or listen to in like 10 minutes or less. The convert stage is that next moment where maybe they're willing to interact with you on a longer basis, more than just 10 minutes. So from there, we have to get them to the excite phase. And that's where the customer has an aha moment and realizes in some way, shape, or form that the thing you're offering is the solution to their problem.
And
Then,
Danielle, actually, that
yes,
Timothy, I think that happens usually on the call, right? So if
on the
they're converting
calls.
by making a small investment in time with you here, not a money
Yes,
investment yet, that's where you want the aha moment to happen so
correct.
that the ascend can happen naturally.
Right.
Back to you.
And now in Danielle, in your specific case, you were using the word ascend, which it sounded like the card reading or whatever it is that you're doing at the fairs or at the events. The ascension is actually your core offer, the main thing you're selling, which would be your package of 6 sessions that you want to sell, right? That's the ascend phase. What I'm hearing is that there's actually a gap between the call, or I'm sorry, the event thing that you're doing with them and selling your big package. What I would suggest is follow up with every single person that you interact with and in some way, shape, or form have a way to collect their email. In the old school days, we used to do this at AOH sometimes, and even at Hypnothoughts, we would just pass around a clipboard and like, hey, just fill out this little form thing, and we'll manually add you to our email list.
Yeah,
But
go home
now,
with a bunch of scraps of paper that we'd have to
yeah,
enter in
yeah,
by hand.
yeah, but then we decided, hey, we're going to start using like forms and stuff so we can collect email. Now, in this case, Danielle, can you give us a little more info? What's actually happening at these events when you
Yeah,
say
what's
that
the
you're,
order of events?
yeah,
Yeah, so basically how it works is it's like a vendor event. So I pay for a booth and I go set up, and people are walking by my booth all the time. They see my booth. If they're interested, they'll come up to my booth, we'll talk. And most of the time, if somebody comes to my booth and they talk to me, they sit down and they pay that low ticket offer. I mean, honestly, the most common, it's between $30 and then it goes up to 95. The 95 is obviously rare, it happens, but the most often is the 30 or 40.
Oh, we lost you.
oh,
Okay, just to check in to make sure I'm hearing this clearly. This is actually better than I expected. I thought you were
yes,
going to be doing like a free reading and
free,
then
yes.
so you would be getting kind of the conversion, which is the investment of time before getting their contact information. But it sounds like you're doing things in a beautiful order. So they're actually paying
Mhm.
you, they're giving you some money, and you're giving them that reading at the same time. So you should have their contact information at that point. Can you hear us still? Did we lose her?
Oh no,
Okay,
you'll,
well,
all
maybe we'll
right.
have to come back when
Sorry,
she.
guys, I'm back.
Oh,
I don't know what
Oh,
happened. I'm here.
oh, there
are
you
you
go.
back? Okay, so
Yeah.
we lost you there briefly, but we were just saying it sounds like you actually get the money, so you get the contact information probably at the same time, right? So
Yeah.
they have
Yeah.
actually become aware, they've engaged with you. They have given you their contact information at the time of purchase. So subscribe and convert are happening at the exact same time. And then
Yeah.
right then and there, you get to do the excite phase by doing the reading. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
Awesome.
awesome.
Okay.
So what is your current strategy for follow-up? Like I don't imagine you're going to go from a fair where they're giving you $30 and hit them up right on the spot for a high ticket package. It could happen, but it's probably that wasn't their intention is to go spend 1,500 bucks or whatever it is while they're walking
Mhm.
around a fair. They were thinking like throw away $30, let's see what happens.
Yeah. And so that's what the gap is really right now my process is like at the end it's like thank you so much for, sitting down with me. Not only do I do intuitive readings, I also offer hypnosis and
Mhm.
energy healing. Here's my Instagram. Feel free to follow me. They'll follow
Mhm.
me. And then I don't do anything from there, and that's the problem. Is I don't
Yeah,
I
you have a
don't send
follow-up.
Yeah.
anything out after
You
that.
you
Yeah.
got a follow-up problem. What information do you get from them?
Typically I get their Instagram, but what I'm wanting to start doing is just having like a little piece of paper. It's like what you guys were talking about with AOH, where they
Hmm.
just put their name and their phone number. I'm really feeling drawn towards text message.
Yeah.
I could do email, obviously, there's both, but where they just give me their name and their phone number, and they have to fill that out before they sit and get the reading with me. And then I
Yeah.
have that, and I need to now figure out all the automation stuff and the Pykthos side of things so that then I just have something I can send out
Yeah, you
that's
could. I mean, you
automated.
could you could do it old school paper and pen kind of thing, like Timothy described. We used to do that when we didn't
Yep.
want any complexity around technology. We just handed out pads of paper and like write your name and email, and we manually out to them. But if you've got these people at a table, you could have like an iPad where they just fill out a quick form, and behind the scenes that dumps their contact information straight into Pictos, and that way you have it. Or
Okay.
you could just have them do it on a form. You could just say, "Hey, is it okay with you if I follow up?" Because from the reading that we do together, I'd like to send you. What I would do is come up with a personalized, useful resource that you can send them. Maybe you have a few different variations, and AI can help you make a lot of this stuff and make it much faster. But that way you can do the
Mhm.
reading and say, hey, cool. Is it all right if I follow up with you by preferred channel, email, text, etc.? And
Mhm.
I want to send you something that will move you along. I would also probably
Mm,
dump them into a nurture sequence. So you might it really depends on you. That's why I want to flesh this out with you on a Wednesday call in more detail. I want to get you on
okay.
a hot seat because there's so many things you could be doing, and that way we can go in and screen share together and set up
Okay.
Mhm.
some of the if-then sequences. But basically, you want to figure out what's the most logical pathway, and then have a series of emails or SMS follow-ups or something that get them to the next step. You've got to sell whatever the next step is, and that next step could be jumping on a discovery call, even though they're already a customer, jumping on a discovery call about the high ticket package, but they might not be ready to jump quite to that yet.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
nurture them, warm them up, build value for them, and then invite them. See it like, hey, would it be a fit? You could even have a campaign that goes out every once in a while that is like, hey, I am ready to work with five, name your ideal market, women, whatever the category is. I am looking for X number of people who want to achieve Y result. Let me know if this sounds like a fit, and we can jump on a call and discuss it. That's the kind of thing that I've seen work a lot.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'll get on Wednesday and we'll dive deeper into it. I appreciate you guys.
No problem.
Yeah,
Timothy,
yeah.
you got anything
Well,
else there?
yeah, I just do kind of want to ask Danielle, what is your the actual main price of your high ticket offer?
Yeah. So it is, oh, I need to look at my website. I think it's $2,044.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So the gap really between, $30 and the $2,044, it has to make sense, right? It's
Yeah.
really hard for people to justify a like 10x or really like a 100x, change in the price because they're going to think, well, if I just paid you $30
Mhm.
for this, however long it is intuitive reading, what exactly is the, $2,000 thing? What's the difference, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the gap you're actually going to have to overcome. It's not so much the money, it's the belief in how much that value is that they would be getting from the way that the price is currently anchored. So I would either come up with a strategy, and this is something we could help you flesh out with on Wednesday. Come up with a strategy that maybe you have something in between that's like a $295 thing. And maybe
Okay.
it's a single session, but it's like a 2 hour session that's longer than your usual sessions. So they get an opportunity, one, to do the discovery call, like Chris said. And so
Yeah.
you can flesh out more of their problems and everything else.
Mhm, mhm.
And you can give them a wicked good session So that is the value. You're showing them the difference between my thing at the fair and this is my one-on-one work. If you can distinctly show the difference, selling that $2,000 package will be easy.
Yeah, you
Okay.
could slide. I like that idea of sliding something in the middle as it could be a group work, or you don't have to like it. There's no rule that you have to do what Timothy just suggested, but
No.
it's something to experiment for sure, and
Yeah.
it will grab in an ethical way. Like when I say grab money, I was about to say grab cash from people who wouldn't normally give you a $2,000 amount.
Yeah.
But see how it goes, right? Because if you can close enough people on the $2,000 package, then you don't want to bother with the lower cost. But depending on how things go, just experiment along the way. And I think Timothy's suggestion is a good one. I also wanted to mention this, though. I do see Jessie in the chat mentioned a QR code, which is, of course, a great
Yep.
idea. Now, you don't need that for the people who buy from you, but I do think it might make sense to have a double bind in your on your table. So something like,
Uh-huh.
the reading is $30, right? Or whatever. Don't have time for the reading right now, scan this QR code. That way they get on your email list anyway, and you'll send them a resource, something that would be like an alternative that doesn't involve cash.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
it's the opt-in. So you're getting the subscription phase without the convert phase. I would definitely
Yep.
want to do that. And then I would follow up with those people in a different way because the people who converted, the ones who already gave you $30 for a reading, they're much more hot prospects. And hopefully if
Yes.
they got a good
Yeah.
experience, they trust you, they know you, they're much more likely to get excited and ascend versus someone who just scans a QR code. You have to deliver something of value for them, but don't give
Mhm.
up on the people who don't give you money there. Do something to get their lead contact information as well.
Yeah, totally. And that's currently it's all just through Instagram, which is working, but not
Mhm.
obviously to the degree that I want it to, and
Yeah.
not creating steady revenue. So,
You
Yep.
could ask them, like, if you have a bit of time, literally get them to DM you or you DM them right then and there, because that starts the conversation. And the key
Yep.
mhm.
thing we're finding, this is the easiest way to explain how to make more money as a person in this type of business. Start more conversations, whether they be
Mhm.
well, obviously in-person conversations are better than DM conversations. So if you're starting with an in-person conversation, it's, hey, let's DM each other right now. So we have the loop open. You've opened the loop, right? Then you
Mhm.
can
Yeah.
continue to engage with them later and just continue on those conversations after the day's events.
Yep.
I have one more thing for
Okay.
you. Change your price. Don't make it 2044. Make it
So
one.
I looked at my
Yeah.
website. It's actually 1,044.
Oh, okay. Make it 999.
Yes,
Yeah.
999. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then make it 1999
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
wouldn't,
The
but
ending in a nine. I've heard that marketing
well, you can
strategy.
end it in a
Yeah.
nine, a seven, a five. You can make it.
5.
I'm trying to remember when Perry Belcher taught us this pricing strategy. I'll have to refer back to my notes. You were with me, Timothy. Remember that one?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can,
He said there's absolutely no research that says the 7 is better than a 5 or a 9.
yeah, and you can make it like 1995 or 995, but don't make it 2044 or 1044 because you've crossed the thousand barrier. And
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
like, yeah, unless you really want psychologically people to think I spent $1,000 on this because they're warming themselves up for something else, right? You're qualifying
Yep.
them in
hmm
their mind. They're seeing themselves as spending more money. 999, 995 is seemingly psychologically a lot less money, even though it isn't, than 1044.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. hmm
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And in this case, right, like pricing psychology, there was some research done that showed the difference between like 1,999, for example, and like your price of like 2,044. And what they found is like for jewelry, cars, that kind of stuff, if it's a very obscure number that doesn't end in like a 9 or the traditional like 99 cents, if it's a very flat number, usually that is for luxury, like designer brands, and the person knows I'm going to buy it at this price. There's no wiggle room. It is this price. Now there's some other things you have to do though. You have to get rid of commas. You have to get rid of decimal points. You have to like shrink the dollar sign so it looks smaller. There's like all this
Mhm.
pricing psychology stuff, but for simplicity, because I see Stacey's question or comment like, what about 2,500 and make it 2,499? The exact same concept is you want it to look
Mhm.
smaller than it is, but after taxes, we all know it's going to go beyond that anyways. So,
Yeah, I would go with 2499 instead of 2500 personally, unless
yep.
unless like I said, unless this is something where your
Yeah.
audience is seeing themselves as spending a premium
A,
amount of
a
money.
premium.
If they want to
Yep.
identify that way, go with 2,500. It's clean.
Yep.
Nice. Thank you guys. I appreciate
Awesome.
it. And I'll see you Wednesday.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Look
Okay,
forward to
so the
seeing
two
you.
hand raises so far, we're both existing mastermind members, which is wonderful. We want to help the rest of you guys too, though. So I'm not seeing any hands up. So maybe we'll do like a
Yeah.
final call if you want to have a last chance. Otherwise, Timothy and I are going to dive into some of the stuff that we
Well,
have prepared
I am seeing like some stuff here.
in the
Like
chat.
AK asked, is this open for just private mastermind people, or so just to be clear, the Strategy Cafe every other Friday. So this Friday, and then in 2 weeks, next Friday, this is open to the public. We also in the Pykthos Mastermind, this Strategy Cafe, not the every other Friday, is for our members.
We do a closer, more intimate one with our members, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
we used to meet with them every Friday, and we still do because a lot of you guys come here, and we've added
Mm,
additional working sessions, which is cool. So yeah, that's why we're
yeah.
doing it.
Yep. So I do see Jessie has her hand up, which is awesome.
All
And I
right,
do
let's do
see
it.
Lee has a question in the chat as well. So we'll get to Lee after Jessie.
All
Hey,
right.
Jessie.
Hey, Jesse.
Hey, y'all, haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, how are you?
Life. Let me just tell
Life.
you, it's been a year of some major fine-tuning of life lessons.
Okay.
And so now I'm at the point where I'm ready to move forward. And one of the things that I'm struggling with is, Timothy, I actually sent you an email a day or so ago.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
Pykthos includes scheduling software, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I haven't even looked at my hair today. Wow. Sorry. um, so my issue with scheduling is I don't know if you guys are familiar with human design, but I'm very much a design my own schedule as I go, what works. And I do have to plan, but like if I don't have, I look at my schedule the night before and I know
Mhm.
what's on my schedule for the next day. So then I plan the rest of my day, projects. I mean, I had a
Mhm.
boyfriend who lived here, discovered he was using meth, which came with a dumpster diving hoarding problem.
Uh-oh.
And I kicked him out. We broke up, yada, yada, yada. But he was so emotionally overwhelmed with everything that he never came and got all of his stuff. So I am
Mm.
cleaning. His stuff would show up while I was at the office or while I was sleeping at night. And just like, quit bringing stuff to the house.
Oh
Like,
man.
I need to get a roll off dumpster to get rid of a lot of it.
Okay,
So,
get back to your human design scheduling thing.
so I plan when I plan that stuff out, but then I have a hard time shifting gears if somebody schedules an appointment. So it's hard for me to do online scheduling in that
Mm.
sense. How would you recommend handling something like that?
Oh,
Like I
super easy.
literally go by my own thing. So it's like, do I
Yeah.
just manually schedule people or do I leave it open? Because it's hard for me. I don't know.
Oh no, no, it's super easy. So inside of the Pykthos platform, which comes with your Pykthos Mastermind subscription, just for everyone's
Right.
general understanding, the platform scheduler actually has a way for you to make it so people can only schedule or book with you within a certain time frame. So you can set it up to where they have to give you 24, 48, 72 hours notice before they can actually
Okay.
book with you.
Yeah,
So for example, yeah,
most of the good platforms out there that do
they
scheduling
do
allow
that.
the same kind of thing, right? So you can say, for example, I am only allowing people to book at least 24 hours in advance, for example,
Yep.
right? So that way they can't just
Right.
book the morning of. Like you can't wake up and go, oh crap, I've got an appointment right now. And
Right.
also you can choose your time window. So you can have different appointment types. So let's say it's a discovery call. You can say, I always do those first thing in the morning. I block my 8 through 10 a.m. for discovery calls or whatever works for you. I always do it on Saturday. I always do it on Friday afternoon. You pick your choice, right? And you can choose how far in advance someone must book. So they must book at least one day or at least 2 days in advance. So they can't sneak onto your calendar that day. And also, how many
Okay.
days into the future might they be allowed to book? You can set it. I won't let people book beyond 6 days, beyond seven, beyond
Okay.
whatever you want. And that's the way I would handle it. So just
Okay.
compartmentalize. Just think of it like however you would algorithmically do it in your brain. If someone said, I want to have a meeting with you, what would your response be? Just program that into your calendar.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly like what you told us is you're like, hey, I check it in the morning, and if there's nothing there, then that's my day.
Yeah,
But I would
Yeah.
set it for like Chris said, 24 or 48 hours. That way you can just check and nope, no one's on my calendar, and you know they're not going to be able to get on.
that's a great feature to have on that. I didn't have that on the stuff that I used to use with my massages and
Ah, okay.
hypnosis. So I totally took online booking away
Oh wow.
because it was too frustrating for me. Because then it's like, oh my gosh, now I have to. It triggers that. Oh, I have to reorganize my
Hmm.
day, and
Yeah.
that is it interrupts my creative flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is what it does.
Solving calendar that way makes a ton of sense. We had Catherine's a good example where she was still doing in the UK, I guess they call it a diary, right? So she was doing it all by
Mhm.
hand and said, nah, okay, I'm going online. And that just simplified her life a lot. So it makes a ton of sense. And then most of the systems will also let you, like I know ours does, and I think most of the other ones do. You can have built-in rescheduling links and cancel links. So if somebody books a discovery call and, life gets in the way sometimes, you really don't want no-shows. So you want to be giving them reminders, automated reminders that go out by email with the little, PS, I know life happens sometimes. So if you do need to reschedule or cancel, there's a link there for that. So that avoids no-shows.
Okay. And just FYI, I did refer you guys out to some people at the Quantum Human Design
Oh, fantastic.
company
Nice.
and their IT person in that who's teaching people how to set up their websites and that. They're
Cool.
recommending using all these different services.
Oh, man.
And I see their point for what they're doing and they're showing how to do it. And they're really good at showing all of that. But I said, I really like the idea of Pykthos though, because it's one price. I can pay it for the year. I don't have to worry about everybody that I have to pay every year.
Yeah. And
Or every month. I have one place to pay for all of it. So
thank you.
um
Thank you.
Just to,
if you start
you
getting more
know,
human
one of,
design people, that's why.
I appreciate that a lot. I know I speak for Timothy too when we say we appreciate that. The one of the reasons we created Strategy Cafe is for even for those of you who don't ever join our mastermind, because this is not a sales pitch for the mastermind. We want to show you guys like the way that we think about business, the way we think about automations and workflows. So even if you're using like whatever, you could have duct tape. I mean, years ago, this is what we've got currently at Mike Mandel Hypnosis. It's totally different business when I use tools that we're all duct taped together. WordPress for the website, Kajabi for the membership area, Infusionsoft for all the automations, and then Zapier or Make.com to tie them all together when things don't speak properly. And it's kind of annoying. So, regardless of what platform you guys are using, whether you have something that's all in one, like Pykthos is that, or whether you have a two or three different platforms or ClickFunnels or Active Campaign, doesn't matter. We want you to at least understand how to think. And that's the thing that's missing from most of the individual platforms as you go and sign up for them. And you're kind of stuck like there's maybe a course on how to use it, or there's tech support for, hey, how do I publish this form or something like that? But there's
Mhm.
nobody there to really explain how do you strategically think about using this platform to actually run and scale your business, grow your business. And so that's why even if nobody joins the mastermind, or some of you will obviously, we want you to have something you can take away and learn how to build your business with whatever tools you're using.
Yeah. So hopefully that answered some questions for you,
Mhm.
Jesse, and also answered some questions generally for everybody else.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
you're
You're
very
welcome.
welcome.
So I
Um,
see here we do have a question from Lee,
oh, all
and
right. Yeah, Lee's
yeah,
at
this is a
work,
great
and
one.
Lee
Yeah.
said he's at work and can't come on camera, so we can just take this. Okay, which where is
Yeah.
it?
So Lee said, when does a website make sense? And do we want to use Facebook social media starting out?
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is a good one. So I think a website absolutely makes sense at the right point in time, but
Mhm.
maybe we'll pull up our little diagram of our simple machine here at some point too, because you don't have to have a full-fledged website out of the gate. Although we're actually building a process to help people come up with what the framework should look like and make it really easy to implement in any technology. Um, but I don't think you need the website from day one, right, Timothy? Like we are much
No.
more fans of how do you get, let's just actually pull this back on the screen, the whole customer awareness or customer value journey real quick.
Yeah.
Share. Okay, let me just share the screen here so
Well,
we can talk about this.
yeah, yeah. And I've got the simple machine pulled up here too.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so I'll just recap, right? Remember, Lee, that the whole idea is how are you solving the problem of turning a stranger into someone who is a buyer? Now, a stranger's outside of this customer value journey, this little roadmap we're showing, this squiggly racetrack. When they enter, they at least know you exist right here. They know you exist at the awareness phase. And eventually, as they go through, they buy from you. That's the ascension phase. And hopefully, so they love you so much, they start advocating and promoting for you. A good example of that would be Jessie just mentioned. We've been telling people that you guys exist at Pykthos. Thank you for that. That means happy people who go, hey, I'm going to tell others about you. But so, how do you get a stranger to become a buyer? Now, you generally need to have some sort of mapped out customer value, mapped out process. This is just a concept, right? Awareness through to ascension. You need to have actual implementable assets in your business that will do that. Now, it could be posts or ads on Facebook that lead to direct messenger conversations that then lead to a discovery call funnel or something like that. And you need all the little bits and pieces in between so that when people do fall off of the follow-up sequence, you can re-engage them through some sort of automated email. So my quick advice, and then I'm going to turn it to you, Tim, because I know you have other stuff to say here, is to have whatever the step is before they buy from you, build that first before your website. It's probably a discovery call funnel of some sort for most of us. So I would do that, and then I would also build the requisite follow-up stuff, follow-up emails or text messages, so that once they're in your funnel, you can keep following up with them automatically and returning to that conversation because you need to get them to a conversation. That's the main thing you need to do.
Yep. And for anybody that's really starting out, like as much as it would be great to talk about all the technology and everything else, we really have to like get down to the bare bones of it. You have to have a strong foundation, meaning this box over here on the left, this should be everyone. Before you even think about a website or getting on social media, first you have to know who in the world do you want to help? This is what we would call a niche. And it's more than just, oh, I want to help men in their 30s stop smoking. Like, so do a lot of other hypnotists. You have to make sure that you define the results that these specific people are going to get. So it's not just stop smoking. Maybe the specific result, and that's really the word here is it has to be the specific result because that's going to be the way you talk to them. So let's say that you want to work with, lawyers who want to stop smoking. But the result is that the lawyer needs to be able to do it fast because they're really busy. So you can offer quick 45-minute stop smoking sessions specifically for men in their 30s and 40s who are lawyers and doctors and want to stop smoking, right? That's being specific. Once you do that, you need to start practicing with real people. If you want to help people with stop smoking, find people who want to stop smoking and just do some free sessions. Get some reps under your belt. And then you can start collecting early testimonials. But again, you have to have something to sell. So a clear offer, just like what Danielle talked about. She's got a package of sessions and she's going to sell them, right? One way to contact or book with you. So we haven't even talked about a website or social here. It's just it could be a simple form that they fill out. Now, we don't really like the contact us forms. However, just know that you could have something simple like a booking widget, which we'd have in the Pykthos platform that they could book with you. That is the one thing that you would need, not even a website. You could just have that. And then you just need to be able to talk about what you actually do. And then if you want to do like a small resource, that's what a lead magnet is. But make sure that you are not looking for tools and technology if you haven't even got to this part yet. You should not be trying to complexify your tech or build out funnels or think about building an expensive brand when you don't even have customers. The thing that we see over and over again are people who come to us and they say, guys, like I want to do this thing. I've got all these aspirations. I'm going to have this package and groups and that. And then we ask them simple questions like, well, how many customers do you currently have? What's your current loadout look like with your tech? Like, do you even have an offer? And they say no. Start from the very beginning because once you have that information, then this is where the simple machine comes in. So, Chris, you built this thing. We had a bunch of back and forth, and for the last, year or so, we talked about the pick those pathways, helping people at least go from I have nothing to built, and you built out everything that they're going to get anyway. So, do you want to talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, this is something we're just in the stages of releasing this to all our Pykthos members. But the reason we're going to show it to you guys is just so you understand what a system looks like, because you can conceivably you can build this in pretty much anything. You can build it in any all-in-one platform, or there's only a few good ones, but you could also build it with all the duct tape stuff that we talked about. We do this, like I said, at Mike Mandel Hypnosis, we do it, and we do it at Pykthos, and we use two totally different platforms. At Pykthos, we eat our own cooking, use the platform that we give to our members, and at Mike Mandel Hypnosis, it's WordPress and freaking Infusionsoft and pain in the ass land. So either way, though, it's all possible. But the key here is what you really want to have in the form of a simple machine is however people find you. So in the traffic sources area, people find you, and we're generally going to get them to go to some sort of lead magnet opt-in page. Now, in Danielle's case, she was at a fair, right? That could be she's actually had people walk up to the table and they scan a QR code, and that's where they end up on a page that offers, hey, I've got this free thing for you. Just give me your name and email. We'll shoot it over. So that's usually how we would get somebody on an email list. And everybody's seen different examples of opt-in pages or lead magnet offers. It's something free in exchange for contact information. So what happens? That should kickstart some processes. What we like to suggest is to do two things in parallel. The first is labeled 2A, and it's called the follow-up email sequence. I've since renamed this, since making this with Gemini Nano Banana. That's why the graphic looks so cool. AI graphics, thank you. We are now calling this a short-term engagement sequence. So 2A is a short-term engagement. Basically, the first email, give them what you promised and continue to build some rapport and encourage them to consume the thing that they asked for and ask them if it's helping them. Ask them if they need something else. Start the conversation. Basically, just remember this. No one cares about you. They only care about themselves. Like, say that to yourself 5 times. No one cares about you. They only care about themselves. So don't show up to dinner and talk all about yourself. Ask them what they need. Ask them about themselves. You're looking to get a reply. That's what the short-term follow-up sequence is designed to do. And we've pre-built examples in the snapshot that we're going to be giving our members to show you that. But if you understand the concept, you can write your own emails. It's not that hard. In parallel with that, we also like to send what's called an indoctrination sequence, and we queue them up so that most of the emails are coming on different days. We're not bombarding people with multiple emails for their first experience with us. And in the indoctrination sequence, what we're really doing is just send usually 3 emails is what I prefer. And it's more like welcome to my world. Like, hey, thanks so much for jumping on my mailing list. This is my story of how I got into this field. You're making yourself relatable to them. You're not telling your whole life's freaking story. You're just doing something that will connect with them and resonate with them, like, oh, I'm so glad I found you, and maybe sending them some of your best content. So you're doing those 2 email sequences in parallel so that both of them can nudge them towards what's labeled step 3, the conversion opportunity, usually a discovery call funnel or a booking call funnel. And that's the asset that Lee, I was telling you, it's worth having. If you know you're going to be driving people to this kind of conversation before you sell them on whatever it is you're selling them, and for Danielle, same idea here, right? You're probably going to move people into this kind of funnel. That's the obvious next step. So there's only one funnel for a lead magnet, another funnel for a booking call. And they're very simple funnels. They're 2 pages. Opt-in, thank you very much for opting in. Book a call with me. Thanks for booking a call with me. Now, there's a little bit more nuance that we're teaching everyone around how to put video on those pages, what to say, etc. But those are the 2 main assets with emails connecting them. Now, keep in mind, step 3, most people still won't do that. Out of the, let's say 100% of people who are possibly interested in your stuff, only 2 to 3% of them will generally be ready now. Now, that doesn't mean conversations now. That just means they might get on your list and they might not book the discovery call now. They're kind of interested, but they're not ready now. So out of 100 people who opt in, maybe only 2 or 3 are going to go, you know what, all the way through the booking call funnel and then buying from you. But most will not take the next step. And that's why we have step 4, which is called long-term nurture. And
Mhm.
you can tell it's AI because it says long-term nurture, but it's like weirdly spelled. Anyway, doesn't matter. The whole point here is you're going to queue up a series of emails that are going to automatically go out on a schedule that are evergreen in nature. So they're not about the news. They're not about a special offer right now. Um, they're not about something that is tied to a specific date. They're just overall evergreen concepts, your best content, best advice. And in those emails, we have a specific 4 or 5 different styles of emails that you can use. You're generally going to use a PS statement in those emails, and that's actually something I want to show in. I think you have it on the next slide, Timothy. It might be there, or 1, 2, 3 slides over.
Got it.
Yeah, here. Let me explain this because this is a new thing I just made this morning. I had this conversation last week. Oh, maybe it was more than a week ago now, a week and a half ago, when I was in New Orleans at our mastermind. I was talking with my friend Kristen Rushman. She's the #1 email deliverability expert in the world. She's amazing, and she taught me this. She actually implemented this inside of Perry Belcher's business. The idea being that when you have a PS statement, she calls it like a footer. You basically just give people a very soft call to action in these emails. And it just says something like, when you're ready, here are 3 ways that I can help you, or here are 2 ways, or here's 1 way. You customize this to your own liking, guys. But in this example, we just created a work example for a fictitious person called Sarah Mitchell, and she helps people with stress and stuff. And so when you're ready, here are 3 ways I can help you. Listen to the Calm Mind podcast, short episodes on stress, sleep, and what actually changes anxiety. Notice that's the least commitment. It's a free thing. The second thing is grab your reset and recharge, a self-hypnosis audio bundle for busy days and restless nights. That's probably going to be something like a $27 item or whatever. But it could be anything. You could have a free community and a paid community. You could have a whatever you want. YouTube channel for free stuff, for example. Anyway, the third item and the default one, if you have nothing else, should be the thing you're actually selling. And that would be book a free strategy session. You're going to get them back into that booking call funnel, which was shown on the prior slide, that's step 3 that we just looked at. So if you do this, this is a really great way of having a soft call to action in your emails that's never going to seem pushy. So your emails are always value add with oh, by the way, if you want to work with me, here's how we can do it. And I think that's a really valuable thing for us all to be considering. One thing I also want to say, and this is a cool thing about technology, you might come up with your PS statement and have 2 or 3 things in it, or let's say only 2. And then after you've written 80 emails, you've got follow-up sequence for this, and you've got long-term reach, you've got a bunch of emails that go out. And by the way, you don't need a massive email list to make this work. Even if you had like 100 people on your list, it's still useful. One day, what's going to happen is you're going to say, you know what? I want to change what's in the PS statement. I want to change the call to action. I've started a podcast now. I want that in there. Or I want to link to my YouTube channel, or I've changed the URL that I'm sending people to. Do you think you want to go in and manually update every single freaking email that you ever programmed? Anyone think that would be fun? No. So you use a little bit of technology. You've all probably seen emails that get personalized, like, hey, Chris, hey, Timothy. We do this all the time. Many of you do it, or at least you get email. And it's done through a little snippet called a merge field. It's usually in our system, it's a couple of squiggly brackets and a field that would say like contact dot first name. And that would automatically get replaced with, hey, Stacey, hey, Alan. Same thing happens with the PS statement. You just have a PS statement that's in the form of a little snippet that says squiggly bracket, global PS statement. You edit that one time. If you've put that in your emails, and in our system, it's called a custom value. It's just a variable. You program it once, you drop it in as a little squiggly text in your email, and then whenever you're updating your email, whenever you're updating the footer, I should say, the PS statement, it's updated everywhere all at once, no messing around. So those are some things that more advanced platforms have that super basic platforms don't have. So just something to keep in mind.
Yeah. So hopefully that was helpful to anybody. And I did see that Lee has a couple follow-up questions. So based on everything we just talked about, right, Chris? He
Yeah.
said, well, then, when starting out, how do I get my first customer? And it's okay. So it's just one question. Sorry, at the very beginning it says 2 questions. So yeah. He just wants to know how to get the first customer. He's a certified hypnotist from Mike Mental Hypnosis and
Yeah.
NLP Essential certified.
Yeah, I've been following along with Lee's posts in the MMHA Engage group for a while too, and see it. So it's great to see you taking action. And you're building the skill first, right? So the metaphor that I often use was, building cabinets. Let's say you got to learn how to do the woodworking before you go sell custom kitchens to people. Or maybe a better one is you need to learn how to cook in the kitchen before you can start a catering business, right?
Yeah.
And so if you are comfortable that you can cook food that people will love and you decided that you want to start a business, then you could say, all right, I'm going to become a caterer. Awesome. And of course, you can evolve because not all caterers do their own cooking. They can hire staff, but that's for another day. So for now, you're moving from, I know how to do the thing and I can get a client a result and I feel confident about that. And I know I want to do it for money to, okay, I'm going to actually start the business. So how do you start making that move? Well, Timothy and I have always been of the view that you start by helping people in your existing circles. And Timothy actually has a whole. Do you want to talk about your pro? Because you call it your
Yeah.
discovery call training, but you under not
I
undersell it. Yeah,
undersell. I
it's
undersell
the wrong
exactly
title
what it
because
is.
you've added so much more. It's much more than discovery call training. It's really like how to actually start working with people, how to start getting testimonials. The bottom line, I'm going to turn this to Timothy to talk because he'll say it much more eloquently. But in a nutshell, you've got to do the work first, have some proof that it's done before you can ask people to pay you to do it. And then you just start asking people to pay you to do it.
Yeah. I absolutely love the phrase that Mike Mandel often says, right? Is like you just got to jump into the deep end and you got to show people that you're the expert, right? And so I came up with, based on that, just that one phrase from Mike, I came up with an entire system, which is one that I used to have a six-figure business. And I was in Virginia, and there's a whole backstory, and I'm not going to get into the all the weeds of it. The point is, it's included with anyone who joins the Pykthos Mastermind, but the course is just called How to Get Clients and Keep Them Coming Back. And so a nutshell of it is the whole system depends on our abilities to show that we actually can do what we say we can. And I think that can be really hard for a lot of starting hypnotists because we're often told don't work with friends, don't work with family. So how in the world are you supposed to get some practice in? Well, that's why we developed the practice rooms for Mike Mandel hypnosis. That's way you guys can actually get together, do all the practice and do all the work. Well, one of the things that you can do without having to, like buy my course or anything like that or
He's
join
going
the
to just
mastermind,
give you
I'm
value
just
here. That's
I'm
the
just going to
thing.
give you
Yeah.
value, guys. So the easiest way to do this is find people in the practice rooms, or like let's say you're not even part of the Mike Mandel Hypnosis Academy yet. Let's say you're taking some other course, coaching, whatever. The circle, the cohort that you're in there are great people to start practicing. So what you do is you ask for an exchange of value. And again, we're going to look at the law of reciprocity here. So you want to ask them, I'm going to work with you. Would you be willing to give me a testimonial in return? No exchange of money, no nothing. Don't got to worry about that. The only thing that you're worried about is making sure that you give them a quality session. Work with them as if they are a real paid client. If you do that, then what's going to happen is they're going to feel so great that a testimonial should be easy. And it's not like, as long as you work with what we consider an everyday problem in Mike Mandel hypnosis, and everyday problems like procrastination, sleep issues like insomnia, could be like weight loss or weight management. Like those are really easy things that don't have to worry about, and like I had this terrible traumatic thing in my past or whatnot. Instead, it's something that anybody could talk about. Like, oh yeah, I used to struggle sleeping at night, and then I worked with Lee, and I can now sleep soundly all through the night without waking up once, right? That's an easy testimonial. So what I would suggest is work with people, colleagues in your circle. Do this exchange of value, session for testimonial, and have a place to get a testimonial. So that means a Facebook page is fine. Even if it's them emailing you the testimonial. Getting video, though, is the best way to have testimonials. So essentially, you're gathering testimonials, you've exchanged work for it, and then you use those testimonials to start to be the foundation of proof. Social proof in our industry, authenticity is the number one seller. Chris mentioned conversations. That's why people need to know, like, and trust you. And in the digital day and age that we live in, it can be really hard when everybody is a coach, everybody's a hypnotist. It can seem overwhelming, as if the competition is never ending, which is why it's so important to be specific with who you help. All the stuff that we talk about are the strategy and the foundational things that we teach all the people in the mastermind. And that's why we want to give you guys value here too. So you've exchanged, you got the testimonials, you've exchanged value. From here, the absolute easiest way to start getting your first client is to start looking at your competition. If you're going to be a great marketer and you want to be in business, you have to make sure that you see who's around you. So what are they charging? What does their website look like? Do you think that you can get more testimonials than them? And the way that you find these people is like search hypnotist in my area or hypnotist and then put in your zip code. I don't know. I think zip codes are like a Canadian, American thing. I don't know if like other countries have a zip code, but whatever it is, like a city, state, province, etc. Just go into Google Maps, Apple Maps. It doesn't matter. Pick one and then just type in hypnotist near me or something like that. Look at who's around you. Go out to like 50 miles, see who's in the state or whatnot, or the city you're in, and what are they charging? See what the average price is. And then I would suggest, and this is just me, increasing your price so it's at least 20 to 30% higher than the top person in your area. What that's going to do is people are going to see that and they're going to ask typically two questions. The first is, what does this person know that the other top person here doesn't? Like, why are you the premium? And then the second question they're going to ask is, what makes you better? And this is where it all comes down to the messaging. Because if you can have messaging that resonates with your customer better than they even know themselves, if they read the stuff on your website or on your social posts and they say, oh my gosh, he's in my brain. Oh my gosh, they're talking to me. That means that they're going to be more likely to at least reach out to you to start that conversation. It all boils down to the more conversations you have with people, the easier it's going to be to sell. And the way that you do that is social proof. So some strategy around that, right, is if you're asking for a testimonial, let's say they don't want to put something on Facebook. You can ask them, can I at least blot out your name and can I take a screenshot of an email? I would suggest now, anytime anybody says anything nice about you, even in a public forum, let's say like if you're part of the Mike Mandel Hypnosis Academy, we have a Facebook group called MMHA Engage. That's where all of our thousands of students all come and we mingle and we talk and we discuss all things hypnosis. It's amazing. You should join. But outside of that, what you would do is if anybody in those groups says great things about you, reach out to the person first and say, hey, can I use what you said about me as a testimonial? And if they say yes, take a screenshot of what they said about you. That's a testimonial. Anything, a DM, a comment, a post, all of that qualifies to me as a testimonial. And I bet you, if I were to like ask around the room, how many of you guys, if you see one of those organic looking, like authentic, screenshots of somebody saying nice, do you feel like it's real? Yeah. I'm seeing heads shaking. Yeah. It feels real. It's much better, at least in my opinion, than just some text that you wrote with a picture that says, John said I'm an amazing hypnotist. Believe him. Seriously.
Yeah.
So seeing other people talk good things about you instead of you talking good things about you increases your prestige and your authority.
Yeah, I think we did a call with the mastermind members a few months ago on testimonials and some of the best practices. So I'll just share like one of them here is you want to make sure that when people are leaving testimonials, it's not the generic, oh yeah, Timothy's amazing, you should definitely work with him. That's sort of about Timothy. No one freaking cares about Timothy. No harm meant, right? Like no one cares about me. What they care about is themselves. So if, let's say Alan was to leave a testimonial and say, hey, I worked with Timothy and I came in because I know Alan's in real estate, so I'll make up like a fake example of a problem Alan does not have. I was really insecure in, approaching people who might want to sell their house, et cetera, et cetera. And when I worked with him, all of a sudden, I just felt totally confident. And now the result is sell the transformation. I can approach people. My business has doubled as a result. All things are great. People who have a similar problem to Alan's fictitious problem that I just made up, that he doesn't actually have because he's an awesome guy, they go, oh, I want to get that same outcome, right? They they imagine themselves going through the transformation. Whereas if the testimonial is about how great Timothy is, and it doesn't tell a story of transformation, it's not very useful at all. I'll give you another little tip too. We started doing this probably 6 months ago, and I'm refining the process as we go here. But AI tools are amazing to help you aggregate your testimonials. So you can take the screenshots, dump them in, whether it be ChatGPT or Claude or something. My preference right now is Claude Cowork because it can create files in my computer. I really love using Claude Cowork for this, but you can use whatever you want, or you can cut and paste the result. But you can take every screenshot that anyone has ever sent you, save the screenshot, but also drag it into something like ChatGPT and say, hey, just transcribe this for me so I can cut and paste it into a Google Doc and maintain a Google Doc or a Google Sheet or a Notion or whatever you want to use. I don't care. Apple Notepad, save all these testimonials and start to build a library, because you can, when you're building a page, like if you're building a landing page or if you're building an email sequence about a certain thing, you can ask your AI tool to say, hey, could you pull me like a relevant testimonial that I could add into this email? And it'll do that for you. It'll make your life a lot easier. It's not doing the work for you. It's helping you use assets you already have in an intelligent manner rather than replacing you or making you sound like a robot and all that kind of crap. So this is to me, an intelligent way to use AI tools. And in my case, I know Timothy and I over the last couple of months have really been getting to know Claude Cowork because it's just an amazing tool. But that's probably too much detail for you guys today.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was, what else I want to show? Do you think it might be worth showing off what some of the different assets look like, just to get a sense of what does a discovery call funnel look like, or what does an opt-in funnel look like for people?
Well, we did have some questions that
Okay,
came in.
let's do it.
Yeah, so Ashley, she emailed us. She's a new
Oh yeah,
QHHT practitioner in her internship, working towards her 25 sessions. Great job, Ashley. She's looking to help, looking for help with marketing and landing initial clients, mainly asking.
I got
Um,
you.
yeah. So, yeah, awesome.
I
You have
got
a
you. We
great
got
guy.
Ashley's question by email, and we did put it in our notes here. So let's deal with this one right now. Okay, so in Ashley's case, I know in her email she said that I just want to help people like in a natural way, just sort of work through whatever problems they have. I can't remember the exact wording was in the email, but
Yeah.
it was
Learning how to talk about her work in a natural, non-salesy way when connecting with prospects.
yeah, there was an exact that was a shortened version that I put in the notes, but there was a specific phrase that she used in the original email that led me to
Oh,
think
yeah.
maybe there isn't a niche selected quite
Yep.
yet. And so that
So
is an
I'm
important thing, right?
Yeah, she said, I'm looking to develop a genuine, natural way to speak about what I do, something that feels aligned and not salesy, especially when connecting with new people. I want to help heal whatever they're moving through, and I
That's
recognize that
it.
this work is best suited for people
Thank
who
you.
are called and open to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this whole idea of I want to help heal people with whatever they're moving through. That's great. We totally understand what you mean, right?
Yes.
But that won't resonate on a page. Like if you just say, "Oh, I help heal people with whatever they're moving through," that sort of sounds like a restaurant. You say, "Well, what do you do at a restaurant?" I feed hungry people. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
it's
That's a great
yeah. I
metaphor.
just made that up, and I'm not making fun of anybody. Just to be clear, like I'm just making a metaphor that I think resonates with people. So, oh, we feed
Yep.
hungry people. You go, oh no, like I want to. Why do you want to go to such and such a restaurant? Because they have the most amazing, gluten-free menu. I don't know if you have a gluten allergy, then you probably want to go to a
Yep.
restaurant that has amazing gluten-free food that won't wreck your gluten sensitivities, or you
Yeah.
love Italian food, or you love
Yeah.
really creamy dishes, or you just are into really awesome steaks. So there's niches, right? So it doesn't mean that you have to only ever work with the people who you define as your ideal clients, but it's a good idea to have a sense of who the ideal client is so that you can start speaking directly to them. And we actually just took our mastermind members through a radically expanded but super cool exercise that takes only about 10 minutes to create an ideal client avatar
Mm.
document. You end up using AI tools and you get like a 30 plus page document that tells you all about your ideal client. But you have to come up with the idea yourself. Who is it that you want to serve? What are their problems? What are the
Mhm.
transformations they're looking to make in their lives? That'll help you. Now, that doesn't mean you can't work with other people too. So what'll happen is remember the customer value journey we showed. Well, what people get to the advocate and promote phase, they're like, hey, I've worked with Ashley before. She's awesome. She used this process called QHHT, and she helped me with X. And she could probably help you too. And even if that's a totally different thing that isn't normally your niche, people will probably approach you and say, hey, Ashley, Jessica told me about you, my friend, and can you help me with this? You just want to have people reach out to you, but start with a niche. And if you start with a niche, that'll help. Lead with value. Instead of being salesy, you can lead with value, right? Kind of like we're putting on an example here of leading with value. We're not asking you guys to buy anything from us. We're just showing you. We'll do the soft PS. By the way, like if you want to join our mastermind, you can. Here's how you can work with us, just like the footer PS statement we showed you in the emails. But if you lead with value, then you don't have to be salesy. You don't have to be like, oh, this is the best. This is going to change your life because of X, Y, and Z. Learn to just ask really good questions about people's problems, listen, and then sort of give them a little aha experience. If you can do a little mental exercise with them that starts to unlock their problem, and they go, oh, no one ever framed it that way. No one asked me to do that kind of activity before. They have a little aha moment and they go, ah. And if you sense that, as all good hypnotists will, through something called calibration, right? Then you can say, hey, does this feel like a good fit? Should we carry on this conversation? You know, that's the sales equivalent of want to go inside.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. There we go. All right. So I really hope Ashley hears and listens to this because I'm not sure if she's here with us live, but hopefully she watches the replay and appreciates that we got her email and we answered it.
Yeah, if people sign up and then send us an email in advance, we will usually make a good note of it and talk about it. So thank you for not letting us forget about that one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man. Yeah, this has been a great session so far. And so does anybody have a question? And if so, we'd love to hear it either in the chat or you can raise your hand. And if not, Chris and I are going to keep talking about things that we enjoy.
Yeah, we got a
The
few minutes
session's
left. I
been
just
good.
wanted to make sure we handle all the hand raises, which
All
we
the
have now
hand
done, and we have a little bit
Yes.
of time left in this episode. And let's see, just in terms of our notes, yeah, Ashley's question we've got done, the soft call to action email PS statement strategy. That was a good one I wanted to make sure we covered. And let's go
Looks
to
like,
where did
yeah. Yeah.
Chris
So,
go? I just saw a
yeah,
hand raised.
mentor Chris, go ahead and unmute yourself and then ask your question.
Hi,
Hey.
hi. I have a question. I'm doing also hypnosis, but I'm having kind of special niche because I'm doing, let's call it adult hypnosis,
Yeah.
with orgasmic stuff. And as you know, that is kind of problematic on social media, because if I would write directly about it, then by account, do you maybe have also some input on that?
I think
Yeah.
I mean I don't have any direct experience with this other than what I've
No.
seen like just in going through news feeds and stuff, and I've seen a variety of whether it be coaches or hypnotists, whether it be on the X platform or whether it be on Facebook or Instagram. What people will often do is kind of talk around it, or they will use metaphors to describe things that are a little bit more adult in nature. So they won't use the
Mhm.
terminology or even the colloquial expressions, but they will sort of make body language gestures and use words or use captions that have asterisks to block out certain spellings or whatever. And they'll
Yeah.
hint at things and they will add value. This is the key thing. So being a good student of marketing, I'll sometimes watch this stuff and be like, oh, that was well done. They offer actual value, they give a tip, and then they just the same idea. Like, hey, if you want to know more, just reach out to me by DM. I can send you a resource on this or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other part of this too, and this is for everybody, is you have to think about where exactly your ideal client, your audience live,
Hmm.
right? So if I'm wanting to sell, like Chris brought up the restaurants earlier, right? If I want Italian food, I'm not going to go to a Chinese restaurant, right? Like it doesn't make sense. So in the same token, if you want to talk to people in the adult space, I would start looking at places like Reddit. Reddit has a bunch of subreddits that if you start building engaging conversations there, build
Hmm.
out your profile and everything, Reddit's ad space is even really inexpensive. And then there's
I was just
another,
thinking the same thing. You could
yeah,
advertise on Reddit, or you
you
could
can
at
advertise
least
on Reddit
you could do a hell of a lot of market research on the
on,
subreddits
yeah,
in those
yep.
areas.
Yep. And then I would start looking at places like X, like where are the adult themed friendly places that you could go? Obviously not
Yeah.
LinkedIn, probably not Facebook, not Instagram, not Pinterest, but Tumblr would be a great one. Reddit would be a great one.
Yeah, like
There,
you're gonna get
you're
adults
going,
on Instagram and
yes,
Facebook, but you're not going to be able to target that
like
niche as
public
directly.
facing.
You're going to have to do the stuff I
Yeah.
said about kind of couching the
Couch. Yeah.
using metaphors to describe the problems and basically just not violating any of their terms and conditions. Read their terms and conditions just to make sure you're
Yes.
aware. But you can
Yes.
sneak around it by giving metaphors. And then, yeah, for places like Reddit that absolutely support that kind of stuff, just
Yep.
go for it.
Yeah.
You
And
could
that
probably, I mean, there are platforms that
there are,
host video content of an adult nature. So I've heard,
yes.
and you can advertise in them. Like they
Yeah,
accept
yeah,
advertising.
pretty inexpensively too.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to go about that, Chris.
Yeah.
Thank you, because I was like, how do I talk about
There are
the
certain
That is a good
hubs
idea.
and
Thank
yeah,
you.
I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Now the other thing too, Chris, is and I mean Chris and Chris, but for everybody, one of the things that you can do is if you sell something in a not so public facing nature that is appropriate, right? The easiest way to be able to talk about what it is that you do want to talk about is get them off the platform and into your email list.
Hmm.
I don't know how many years we're going to hear Ryan Dice from Digital Marketer say that
Email ain't dying.
email ain't dying. So if you, like Chris was saying, Chris, and for everyone else, if you have something that you can offer, like
Hmm.
a lead magnet, like maybe it's like, hey, do you have a special hypnosis for adult themed people, right? That you could just exchange your email without having to go into the deep details of what the hypnosis audio is.
Hmm.
Because once you get them off the platform, it's now your personal space and you can describe and explain anything you want in email. No one's going to stop you.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps.
That helps quite a lot. Thank you so much, guys.
Awesome.
Thank
Great.
you. Awesome.
Great, great,
Okay.
great.
I do see two questions in the chat, and then that might, if we answer these, that might
Yeah, that'll probably
take us
take
to
us
the end.
towards the end. If we have time, we can maybe do a little bit of discussion around. I mentioned earlier, and I put in the notes here that you don't need a giant email list, so I can expand on that, or we'll just save it for next time. Okay,
All right.
what you
So,
got?
Stacey, you are here. Did you want to just unmute yourself and ask your question? We like the dialogue rather than
Okay, yeah. So for testimonials, especially because I'm also a nurse, so I try and keep, people's names unless they tell me it's okay to use it
Yeah.
out of saying things. But I was wondering, like, if it helps with like prestige in a testimonial to like put either their initials or even if they don't want their initials, just what they do. Like, Stacey helped me prepare, helped our company prepare witnesses for $1 billion trial, which we won. Thank you. Our witnesses were able to testify without being nervous wrecks or whatever. Legal counsel, Fortune 50 company. So you're not outing the company. You're
I
not,
love that.
that's
yes,
okay.
Yes,
That's good.
yes,
absolutely. Yeah, I think that because that gives you more credibility by the type of person that you worked with.
yep, yep,
Yeah,
yeah,
legal
and even
counsel for a Fortune 50, that I mean, yeah, sure, you
yeah,
don't necessarily want to say, "Oh, it was legal counsel for, you know, whatever company." Yeah.
yeah, yep,
And then have
yep,
people like get online and look and see who was just in a
Yeah.
$1 billion,
Yeah,
yeah.
legal
Procter
case,
and
whatever.
Gamble,
Yeah.
chief attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so the best thing about this, Stacey, is that even if you didn't want to have anything that would disclose who they are, right? You don't want to dox them. I would still, even if they left you like a comment or something, take a screenshot and ask them, if I blur out your information, can
Is
I
that
still
okay?
use it?
Yeah.
Because if they say yes, that makes it even more authentic. So yeah, I just love the layers of authenticity.
Yeah.
It's from me writing it on a website to I now have proof that they said this about me. That
You can
just
imagine
increases
you
it.
can imagine a lot of fields where that's the case, right? Like Chris was just talking about the area, the adult nature of things. I mean, if he was getting a testimonial, people might not want their first name and last name and the sexual issue
Unless
that
that's
he
what they're
helped them
into.
solve or something, right? But you get, you if they did give you a message and you said, I'm obviously going to blur your face and your name. Can I use this? They'll go, yeah, sure, no problem, because it doesn't look like me anymore. It's blurred.
Yeah.
That's Yeah, or initials, and absolutely with respect to titles, I think that's a great one. That's a good
Yep.
question, Stacey.
The great question.
Because I mean, even like I talked yesterday with the dog trainer, he has like this beautiful facility and it's
Hmm.
big. And I said, calm owners, calm dogs, right? And he's like, yeah. I said, would you want me to maybe like help you out and come and do a hypnosis session for your for your daycare, for your training? And he was like, you could do that? And I'm like, yeah. And he
Oh
was like,
yeah.
oh, wow. And so, I mean, I don't know if I would put like dog trainer because like we're in a small community and they might figure it out. But I would be able to put like, get some testimonials and put like, business owner, like, hey, what did you think
Mm.
of what we did the other night? Oh, wow, it was great, yada, yada, yada. You
Oh,
know,
this is actually a great, you just sparked something that resonated really well that I want to make sure we hit on about the testimonial specifically. Make sure, and this is for everyone, that the testimonial actually talks about you and the thing that you're selling. It's not going to make any sense if like I am on, like a website and I see a testimonial for Stacey's hypnosis sessions and I'm like, okay, yeah, they're about anxiety. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm looking at the testimonials and it's like Stacey helped me with, eating, or Stacey helped me with this procrastination and nothing about anxiety, then it's a mismatch. So if your main niche is like I help people with anxiety, but you have no testimonials that actually say that, there's a mismatch. Anything like that, even if it seems minor, to the customer is going to seem off and they're probably going to start looking elsewhere. So make sure your testimonial lines up with what you're selling. Just, yeah, to your point of like, if I'm working with Fortune 500 companies, would that CEO is like, oh, well, she helped dog owners. Like, maybe it doesn't fit. But if you had a bunch of testimonials about other businesses or, witnesses or anything like that, that all match, that just increases your authority and prestige.
I would probably change it to like local business owner,
Yeah.
something like that. So it's
Yeah.
not, as small of what.
Right, right, right. Yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah,
small
that's
business owner
awesome.
in the
In the ever area.
industry. You don't,
Yeah.
yeah,
100%. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
you're welcome.
You're welcome, Stacey. Thank you.
Do you guys have recommendations for anybody that like actually does websites for those of us that are very technologically impaired?
Oh, that's such an interesting question timing wise, because we're exactly at this crossroads of we don't build websites for our clients at Pykthos right now. We might go there at some point, but what we're doing is putting together all of the resources to make it ridiculously simple for you to have everything that you need in terms of knowing what you want on the website, the structure, the layout, the design even, and then either use a freelancer that you hire or we'll recommend one, or do it yourself with AI tools. Now, the good news is maybe we should do a deeper dive into AI tools in one of these calls in the future. You guys can let us know and guide them. But these days, there's basically no excuse to have a site that looks like you built it yourself. GeoCities back in the day, or whatever, somebody taking like a Wix template and, just trying to customize it. It's obvious. It looks horrible. And it's like, oh, you built this. It reminds me
Unless
of,
that's your niche, is building
yeah,
terrible websites.
yeah, yeah. Put it this way. I told everyone, I think I said this on a recent call with our mastermind members, but I'll repeat the joke because to me it's so funny. Somebody heckled Mike Mandel once when he was doing a hypnosis show, and Mike, being the master of handling all this stuff, he just looked at the guy in the audience and he said, "You cut your own hair, don't you?" I go, "No." He says, "Yeah, you cut your own hair and you make your own clothes." It was just a great comeback, and the guy was completely embarrassed and sat down. But you don't want to look like the person who cuts their own hair and makes their own clothes when it comes to websites, right? And these days, AI tools make it so easy. But there's some magic around how you prompt it, how you feed it the right information. We're working through that process actually right now, because what we used to do is give a template like, hey, here's a homepage template that you could use. And we still do to our Pykthos members. But I think that now there are tools that will allow us to go so much further. So my simple advice is start to play around with some of the AI tools, but learn how to do prompting in the form of, I'm going to just sort of show you with my phone as an example, you know how you can press the little microphone button on ChatGPT or any of these other AI tools, or you can just press a voice recorder on your phone and make a really good long audio riff, what I call a riff, R-I-F-F. Just start talking and recording what you're saying. Hey, I'm Stacey. I'm a hypnotist. I work with these types of people. I need to have a website that looks really good. Make sure you're very clear in your recording about what the call to action will be on the website. Make sure you're very clear about who your target audience is. If you have that predefined in something called the client avatar, which is one of the first things our members must do, give the AI that document and just talk, 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 lots of information. Give it everything you can think of about what your business is like, what kind of testimonials you have, who you like to serve, what you want your clients to actually do when they see your website. Am I looking for them to book a call? Am I looking for them to opt into a particular lead magnet, right? What are the main things you want them to do? Because then what will happen is the AI at least get you most of the way towards a structure and say, hey, great, I think I have an idea. Your homepage should have these elements on it. I suggest this kind of headline. I think you should have a picture of yourself here. You should have your booking call funnel right here. You should put your testimonials that you said you had. It'll get you very far along. And then if you're at least a little bit familiar with some of the website tools, you can ask the AI to give you a full prompt that you could literally copy and paste into an AI website builder, like we have one within Pykthos, and that would generate you the actual website that would be 95% done with minor tweaks. It would be ready to go very, very quickly.
Yeah,
Yes,
it would
exactly.
be great if you guys had like build a website with you coaching call.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, like pay for you guys or somebody you recommend to sit and do this with you for those of us that are
Sure thing. Do you have a site now?
technology not my best friend.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
Okay.
I've heard Claude's really good for a lot of these things.
Yeah, great brainstorming tool and initial design tool. And yeah,
Yep.
we use that a lot for a lot of our mockups.
Yep.
In fact, I'd say almost all of the mockups we do, Timothy, these days are probably using Claude or Claude Design or whatever, and then we mock stuff
Something
up and
like
then hand
that.
it to our designer and say, "Hey, we would like to change this and this and this, but generally this is the framework that we want. Can you build this for us?" And he does it,
Yep.
and
Thank
it's only
you.
getting easier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're welcome. All right. Well, that brings us up to the top of the hour. I do see that, yeah, we had, what should we call ourselves, a hypnotist or other name? That's like the last question from Lee. And I would honestly, I would say just call yourself whatever you're comfortable identifying as. Some people are comfortable saying, I'm a hypnotist. Some people say, "Oh, I'm a hypnotherapist." It really depends on, well, one, I would check the legality of either hypnotist versus hypnotherapist, depending on the location you live in. I know in the United States, for example, in Colorado, the state of Colorado, you absolutely cannot say you're a hypnotherapist anywhere unless you're a therapist, licensed, like all of that stuff. I don't know if there's any provinces or anything like that in Toronto or anything that fall under that same wing, but just make sure the like legality of being able to call
Hmm.
yourself whatever. Another thing, and this is something that I got from Mike Mandel, is you can call yourself a coach of the unconscious mind or an unconscious coach. And
Hmm.
no one's going to argue. There's no legal framework that says, no, you can't talk to the unconscious mind. That's ridiculous. So,
You're generally
yeah,
going to be safe though, calling yourself a hypnotist or a
hypnotist.
consulting hypnotist or something like that. And there,
Yeah, yeah.
you will possibly run into gray areas or more than gray areas if you call yourself a hypnotherapist in certain parts of the world. I think you're still technically okay to do that in Ontario, in the UK, in most states, but don't take our advice as legal advice.
Nope. Nope. Now,
Yeah.
a good place is if you don't want to hire an attorney or, consult with them, ChatGPT, Claude, at least they can get you like 80% of the way there.
Yeah. Awesome. All right.
Awesome.
It's probably a great place to wrap it up. So, guys, if you are interested in following up, if those of you who are sort of looking to actually take steps, using more tools. If you're interested in learning more about the mastermind, you can always reach out to us, team@pykthos.com. Those emails go to Timothy and I. We'd be happy to answer your questions about the mastermind, about the tools, about the software, about processes, anything like that. Otherwise, these replays go out ASAP. They're going to get posted on YouTube and Spotify. We do email out really good notes, like a summary of what we talked about. So that way you can watch the replays and sort of have time-stamped notices of where to go back to. And we'd love it if you guys keep coming back. Keep sending us your questions in advance too, if you can. We'll help you out to the degree we can. Even if you don't join the mastermind, that's totally cool. We just want to do these things as community service and value first. We're demonstrating how we recommend you sell by doing it ourselves. We're showing you the value first and not getting all pitchy. So I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.
You want to take us out, Timothy?
That I do. Looking forward to seeing all of you next time. Thanks once again.
And
good night.
good night.